The NBA draft is far from perfect, and the order in which players are selected very rarely indicates the rank of the players. Drafting is far from a perfect science, and this is proven every year when non-lottery picks, second-round picks, and undrafted players break out into solid NBA players, while there are also typically a few lottery picks that don't pan out into much of anything. With that being said, that brings us to the topic of today's video, which is discussing 4 players in the 2018 NBA draft that could potentially be hidden gems down the road. These players are either not being discussed as much as I believe they should be, or they're players that are being labeled as second-round picks that I believe could stick in the NBA and make a lasting impact. Before I begin though, I just wanted to thank you all for 3,000 subscribers, as I am very truly appreciative of all the channel support. If you're new, be sure to subscribe below as well. Now, with that being said, let's get right into it. The first hidden gem in the draft is Kevin Huerter, a sophomore shooting guard from the University of Maryland. He stands at about 6'7", the same height as Klay Thompson, and that's not the only similarity between the two. This past season, he averaged 14.8 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game while shooting the ball extremely efficiently from both the field and from 3, with a 50.3 field goal percentage and a 41.7 three-point percentage. The shooting ability is the basis of why he is an NBA prospect in the first place. Huerter moves very well off the ball, using cuts, screens, and pops to get himself open looks. When he gets the ball, he doesn't even need much space to get a good look at hitting a shot because of his height. His height gives him a shooting advantage over other guards, and he has a quick, high release that is difficult to defend, similar to Klay Thompson's. Additionally, adjusting to the NBA line won't even be much of an issue for him, as he has already developed a deep range with his jump shot. Now, labeling him as a shooter could be misconstrued as saying that that's all he can do, which is just not true. Huerter was a high school point guard and uses that experience as a ball handler in his game often. He operated pick and rolls well, keeping defenses on their toes with his ability to either pull up for the shot or create for his teammates. His ball handling might not be great, but it is solid enough. What makes him a hidden gem is the fact that he has flown very under the radar nationally. His Maryland team was not very good, so they were not followed very closely by most, and it's fair to say that a majority of basketball fans don't even know who he is. He's projected to be picked at the end of the first round, or he might even slip into the second round, but I believe that he will stick in this league and be a contributor to a team for years because of his ability to shoot the ball and create mismatches at the guard position. The next hidden gem in this year's draft is the reigning National Player of the Year, as crazy as that sounds. Jalen Brunson won every Player of the Year award there was this college basketball season, and his Villanova Wildcats won the national championship this year, yet when it comes to NBA draft stock, he is fairly slept on compared to Players of the Year in the past. Brunson is a tough-nosed, physical, floor general point guard that does everything you ask of the position on the floor. He averaged an 18.9 points, 4.9 assists per game in college, while shooting an extremely efficient 52.1% from the field and 40.8% from 3 this year. The reason that he is considered a hidden gem is because people are doubting his skill set at the NBA level. He's projected to be picked at the end of the first round or in the second round, but I believe that he will have a long, productive career in the league. He's not the quickest point guard, nor is he the most athletic, which are the biggest knocks on him, but he is very fundamentally sound, and he has very high basketball IQ. He knows when to push the pace, he knows when to slow things down and get into a set, and he rarely forces anything on the offensive end. Guys like Brunson may not be the most flashy players, but they know how to play the game of basketball at a high level, which will ultimately help the bench unit of an NBA team drastically. For comparison, Fred VanVleet is very comparable to Brunson in terms of their skill sets and abilities, and despite not being the biggest guy, the quickest guy, or the most athletic guy, VanVleet was tremendous off the bench for the Toronto Raptors this season and is in the running for 6th Man of the Year. That's the kind of player that Brunson will be at the next level, and every team can use someone like him running their bench unit. Up next on this list of hidden gems is Bruce Brown, a guard from the University of Miami. Coming into the season, Brown was reasonably expected to be picked in the lottery of this year's draft because his potential was that high. Then, he injured his foot, had surgery, and his stock has fallen as a result. Some optimistic mocks have him in the first round still, but there are plenty that I've seen that have him labeled as a second round pick, and if he falls into the lap of a team in the second round, that team might have just stumbled into a valuable asset without any expectations. Brown earned his reputation on the defensive end as a tenacious on and off ball defender. He's quick, agile, and tough, and he can easily switch onto point guards, shooting guards, and small forwards. He makes life tough for ball handlers similar to Avery Bradley and plays the passing lanes well as well. Offensively, he is still a work in progress, but when healthy, he is an athletic freak that attacks the rim with power. The concern, however, is that he's not completely healthy. Pre-injury, Brown had a vertical of above 40 inches, but at the NBA Combine last week, he tested in at only 38 inches. It is still good, but it is not nearly as good as it once was. Offensively, his jump shot isn't bad, but it certainly needs work. He shot 34.7% from 3 in his healthy season, which is mediocre. The good news is that his percentage increases in catch-and-shoot situations opposed to off the dribble, which NBA teams will be able to work with. Overall, Brown's two-way play is very valuable in today's NBA, and at the very least, he could give a team some good minutes off the bench. However, if he ever regains his full strength and gets back to being fully healthy, he might just turn out to be so much more. The fourth and final player on this list of hidden gems is Javon Carter, a point guard from West Virginia. Carter played all 4 years of college basketball and got better every year. In his final year, he averaged 17.3 points, 6.6 assists, and 4.6 rebounds per game. He has an incredibly mature game and should be able to come into a team and be able to run the second unit similarly to Jalen Brunson, who I mentioned earlier. Quite simply, he just knows how to play and has a solid all-around game. He has excellent vision, can shoot from anywhere on the floor both off the dribble and off the catch, and most importantly, he can D up at a very high level. His West Virginia team was known for their full-court press defense, and Carter was at the helm of this attack. He is a feisty and tenacious defender who gives it his all on that end, and as a result, he averaged a ridiculous 3 steals per game last season. His motor at the point guard position is incredibly high, which should be very enticing for NBA teams. Despite all of this, he is only projected to be a second-round pick. The reasoning is that he's not necessarily the best athlete, and his upside is not that high. However, if players like TJ McConnell can make an impact because of their high motor and tenacity on the defensive end, despite his limitations, then I believe Javon Carter can make a similar impact to a team that gives him a chance. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter @hoopsreference for daily basketball discussion as well. See you guys next video.